And we're live. I think my levels are good. They look good to me. If anybody can let me know that you can hear me clearly. Got the slide out today. Let's see what we can do. All right, sounds good. Fantastic. I've been working out this, not really working out, like trying this tune. I normally play it on lap slide, but I'm sort of trying to get back into playing bottleneck slide. And it's a bit weird to play it on my Loudon because it's kind of not set up for slide, but I'm trying it anyway. See if anyone knows this song. I don't think I've said the title. It's a little bit different to how it is originally. Quite a bit different, but the main lick is this one. Albatross? No, it's actually a tune by Blind Willie Johnson. It was recorded in 1927, so it sounds a lot different to how he recorded it. Called "Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground." It's a really, really deep, emotional song. It's one of my favorite tunes. He doesn't really sing in it. He just kind of hums. He sort of goes And the thing that's interesting about this song is obviously it's in a major key, right? It's in like I'm in C here, like C, G, C, G, C, D. But then he kind of just sticks in this minor third. If you have listened to the song, this is actually what he does. It's like it shouldn't work, but it does. It's so good. Anybody here a fan of Raikuda? I love a bit of Raikuda. I'm listening a lot to Raikuda, so that's sort of this sort of stuff. Raikuda leads me to sunny Landreth. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. I don't know if I actually introduced it. I'm getting carried away. Welcome to the live stream. It's been a while, and you know, if you haven't been to these live streams, then it's all about just kind of contributing and asking questions, but also, you know, let me know what you're working on. I'm really genuinely interested to know what everyone's working on, what you're experimenting with, what you're struggling with at the moment. And this is just a space for guitarists, songwriters, singers, where we can sort of talk about what we're doing, and we can sort of get inspiration and ideas off each other, this kind of stuff. The harmonic slide, yeah. It's something that is that can be the harmony, like, do you mean the so you got like almost two notes. The harmonic sort of is this side, and you can kind of hear it, and sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it goes with the song, and sometimes it doesn't. Like I'm trying to play like this note, and I can't work out if this other harmonic, it doesn't really go with the note. That sounds okay, but sometimes I need to put my finger down because it gets a little tricky because I'm trying to slide on just one string because I'm ringing out the other strings. I want the other strings to be open, so I'm having to bend the slide a bit. And if I try and mute behind the slide, it just gets a little messy and tricky. I think it's okay with the harmonic, actually. But open D, pluck the 5th fret harmonic. That brings the slide from behind the nut. The 5th, I'm actually in open C. It's like a C sus 9 or C sus 2 tuning. And this guitar isn't really set up for slide. So I'm getting lots of like fret noise, but I'm trying to be, I quite like a clean sound. That's why I really like lap slide. Or a guitar that's really set up for slide, you know? Anyway, how's everyone doing? I hope you're good. I don't know what to do in these live streams anymore. I'm just all a bit like, what do I do again? No, this live stream is just about hanging out and yeah, I should be playing my Regal Resonator. It needs a little bit of work, to be honest. It's back there. I should be playing it. Yeah. It needs a little bit of TLC, to be honest. I'll play a proper song. Sorry, I got the sniffles a little bit. Everyone's getting sick because it's like it's winter time and all right. I'm gonna play a song. I'm gonna try and play the whole song. I do this thing of like I forget my lyrics, so I just I end up just forgetting them. So I just do like 2 verses or something. But I'll try and do the whole song. We'll see if I remember. This is a song called Old Tobacco Tin. Here we go. The scent of carpets and dust fill the air in this small cottage where an old man once was. Now just cardboard boxes live there, filled with his life and his love. His son was going through his father's drawers, filling these boxes when right then he saw under the folded white shirts was something his dad's old tobacco tin. From then he kept it for 10 years, in fact. Something so simple it brought memories back. The old tobacco smell, the rush to his head, a Will's cut golden bar it read. Tuesday's the day when the bin men come down, slipping down the driveway, he's late for his rounds. Some things don't mean to go in the bin. That old tobacco tin. Young girl named Lisa at 10 years of age. She loved to go outside and play all these games. She lived with her dad in a 1-bedroom flat. They struggled but their love still remained. Her dad, he worked as a bin man in town, and one day he came home with something he'd found. An old paperback, and there was something within that old tobacco tin. She loved her treasure chest with all her heart, filled it with pebbles and pennies she'd found. At times too fast, and the gay it gets dark, she lost her treasure to the ground. Years passed, and the old man's son's walking one day, stops when he sees the shop window display. Can't believe what his luck has brought him. His dad's old tobacco tin. That was the old tobacco tin. I remembered all the lyrics. It's you know, when you've written so many songs, and I definitely have my favorites. It's just songs that I haven't played in a long time. You know, I forget. But I remember, so I'm having to like relearn my songs slowly. So hey Gij, yeah, I will play Landlord's Daughter. This is one of the songs. It's like that's one of my earliest songs that I wrote as like a solo artist. It's a lot of lyrics, you know. So over the years, so there's a lot of my songs are very much story based, and they have a lot of lyrics. So that one is a lot of lyrics, but I will do it one day. I just have to relearn it, you know. And I'm slowly relearning them. Yeah, absolutely. This one, glad you liked it. It's very much kind of a bluesy influence, you know. Big influence from one of my all-time favorite guitarists, Kelly Joe Phelps. You know, he uses a lot of these sort of, you know, these sort of things, these hammer-ons. So I'm like fretting one from like, I got a capo on the first fret, so like 3rd fret to 5th fret, and then having an open, you know, this sort of stuff. He does a lot of that, and, you know, hammer-ons and pull-offs and open strings and this sort of stuff. And this one particular was influenced by a particular song. I can't remember of his now. I think it was called Clementine. I think it was Clementine. I can't remember which album it was off. But I really like the vibe of that, so I wanted to sort of borrow that vibe and just create something of my own with that. But yeah, I have a banjo as well. I'm not the best at banjo. I basically take what I do on guitar and just put it on banjo. I'm trying to get the hang of like the claw hammer stuff. But it's tricky because it's thinking in a different way, because obviously the thumb is on all the offbeats on the claw hammer, and that's just, it's hard to get my head around because the thinnest string on the banjo is like the drone. Yeah. What's my signal chain? I'm just literally going, I've got my pickup going through a bunch of pedals, and I'm using this large diaphragm condenser. It's a Neumann TLM 107, and that's picking up like most of what you're hearing, you know, is the microphone. So it's like picking up the vocals and it's picking up the guitar, you know, and then the pickup is just a little bit. I can turn the pickup off completely, you know. This is with the pickup off. This is with just the microphone, you know. It sounds almost the same. And now here's with the pickup. You know, so it's like the pickup is only just providing like just a tiny bit. If I turn the mic off now and show you what the pickup is doing, it'll be really quiet. Hold on. You know, so, but I always like to do that. I like to, especially when I'm doing live. Really, I don't need the pickup. I just use it to use my pedals, to use effects, you know, because I have my other effects going through, and then a volume pedal, kind of, so I can bring in effects like that, you know, whenever I want, kind of thing. And then I'm just going straight into interface, and then on just straight to YouTube, or not directly. It's a little bit complicated because I'm going through my my DAW, and then through that I'm going through a program called OBS, and then from OBS I'm going into YouTube. We would be here for a long time if I was to say exactly. Maybe I'll do a video on it, how exactly I do my live streams, because I'm using different. I want to have control over the pickup and the microphone and everything. I have to go through the DAW, and in order to go through the DAW and use the program that I want to be using, OBS, which is really good for live streaming, then I have to do certain things, which will take too long if I describe it now. But it's one of these things that took ages for me to set up, and once it's set up, it's like set it and forget it kind of thing. You know, touch wood, I haven't had too many problems with these live streams. Now and again. Okay, who do we have? Hey Nick, how's it going? Is that Edu? It says, love your videos, man. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And chord voicings make me think of banjo. Yeah, I can't get away from it here in Kentucky. I bet. Nice. Thinking of getting a Strymon Cloudburst reverb. Have you tried it? I haven't tried it. I know some people who have had it. who have got it, and they really like it. It looks really nice, to be honest. It looks very similar to the Blue Sky in terms of like the controls and stuff. I think it's a little bit smaller in size, but I think you can pretty much do exactly the same. Although I haven't had a chance to sort of dive into it, so I don't know for sure. I'd love to try it out, but it's one thing going for it is that it's smaller. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's smaller than the Blue Sky. The Blue Sky it's not a big pedal, but it is fairly, it's not the smallest pedal in the world. But no, I haven't tried it, Nick, unfortunately. Anyone else here tried the Strymon Cloudburst reverb pedal? For Nick, he's asking. Anyone recommend it? I'm sure it's great. Yeah, the Fishman Spectrum DI. That's a nice one. I've heard that. It's nice. Have I tried the Tonewood amp on my Loudon? No, I haven't. I haven't tried the Tonewood amp. I'd like to try the Tonewood amp. Does anybody here have the Tonewood amp? It sticks to the back of your guitar, right? Obviously, I'm imagining that it does it without damaging your guitar in some way. If you've just joined us, welcome to the live stream. My name is Fabian Holland. I'm a guitarist, singer, and songwriter. I'm from the UK originally. If you don't know, this is for the people that don't know me. But I'm living in Germany, in Berlin. And it is 9:35 in the evening here in Berlin. And this is just, I'm playing songs. I haven't done a live stream in a little while, so we're just keeping it open. And, let me know what you're working on at the moment, whether you're working on experimenting with recording, whether you're working on songs, whether you're struggling with something, or whether you have like a specific question you want to ask me. I find it really hard. I try to answer everyone on my YouTube videos, but it's really, really hard because I get so many questions. But I really try and answer everyone. So I'm sorry if you've asked me a question on one of my videos and I haven't responded yet. I will get there eventually, but it does take me a little while. But the best way to answer your questions is just to hop on the live stream, and then I answer all the questions on the live streams. So that's the best way to get you. If you've got a specific question that you really need answering, that's the best way to do it. I have you have the Tonewood. Beautiful. Really recommend it. It doesn't damage the guitar at all. The back of the guitar is... it doesn't damage the back of the guitar at all. It's very cool. Nice. Yeah. I'd like to try it out. I'm sure I will one day. All right. I'm going to do another song. And then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm experimenting with. I have lots of like ideas and plans to do with my own music, and maybe you have any questions or can relate, or anything like that. Or I might have some specific questions for anyone. All right, I'm gonna go back into Dadgad now. Here's a question. What tuner does everyone use? What guitar tuner does everyone use? I am currently using a Polytune by CT Electronic. I normally would have like one of these snark tuners clipped on. But I just really like pedal tuners, you know? They're just really clear and simple. You don't have to have anything clipped onto your guitar. What does everyone use for a tuner? I know it's not the most exciting pedal, but you know, it's important. Alright, I've got a question on running through the effects loop on that Fishman DI. I've got the breakthrough cable, but can I run through the looper, run the looper into it? That way I can use the XLR out. Oh, that's a very specific question for something that I haven't actually tried. I haven't actually tried the Fishman DI. That's the Spectrum DI, huh? Anybody else know about experience with the Spectrum DI, the Fishman Spectrum DI, that can answer that question? Maybe we'll come back to that. I'll do a song, and maybe if anybody has like an answer for that, then we'll come back to that, because that's very specific. Also, I don't want to give you advice of something that I don't know about 100%. Going back to the Tonewood amp, yeah, it's very natural, the effects, because the effects comes to inside the guitar, like your guitar is the speaker. Yeah, nice. And then how would you, if you were to do that in a live situation? I see that being really cool for like busking and stuff, in like situations where you just want to be fully acoustic, right? Then you can have effects acoustically. But what would you do in like a situation where you're on stage? Are you still able to use it? Still able to sort of plug that in? That's the question I have about the Tonewood amp. The practice repo says Korg tuner, and is that the tuner? Trying to learn more dadgad and sometimes open G, CGC, D, GAD, EACGCE. Yeah, nice. Okay, you can plug the Tonewood amp into any amp. Okay. So I guess it has an output, right? And you can just put that into like a sound system or anything like that. Nice. All right, I'm going to do a song, and then I'm going to come back to the questions. Don't worry, I'll answer everyone's questions. It's nice, we're getting lots of questions. That's really cool. I'm going to do one song. All right, here we go. This is a song. This is what I like to do sometimes, is just practice songs that I'm writing, and I really recommend people to do this. You know, if you have songs that you're trying to sort of, if you're in the middle of writing, even if you haven't finished it, especially if you haven't finished it, you know, because you're still trying to get it to find its feet, you know, and sometimes a song can take like years to find its feet, really. And quite often, I mean, songs are always changing, especially the more you play them live. Um, I have songs that I recorded years ago that sound completely different to when I first recorded them, you know. So it's interesting. And it's not necessarily the notes that I'm changing. Sometimes it is, but it's more like the vibe and the feeling and the sort of the way I play it. It's hard to describe. It's kind of it might be just something as simple as like changing the tempo slightly, or changing slightly certain bits inside it. You know, things like this, which sound really simple and not, or sound like not very important, but that sometimes that can make a song, you know. Anyway, here's a song that I'm working on called Memories. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little bit of reverb on the mic. Here we go, and we'll see. Just try that. Here we go. We were young, we used to head down to the southern coast. What I enjoyed the most was the sun and the lovely sea. Fresh sea air, it smelled the best. When the tide was out, we used to run and shout, release the bird in me. The memory of that feeling was so free. Sand in between my toes, sun cream, it's on my nose. The water comes up to my knees. It's these moments and memories. Sunday morn, me dad said, everyone in the car, we don't have to drive too far. I roll my window down, radio on and blasting, cruising steadily. Who can see the sea is the first to make a sound, and I'm the first to say what I have found. Sand in between my toes, sun cream, it's on my nose. The water comes up to my knees. It's these moments of memory. sand in between my toes, a sun cream it's on my nose, a sumter comes up to my knees. It's these moments and memories. That was Memories. Okay, I'll get to the questions now. Sorry, I'm a little bit sniffly. Today. One thing, just before I get to the questions, one thing that I'm working on at the moment is just kind of exploring recording with my pickup. And normally I wouldn't do that. But in certain situations, it can be nice to have some effects coming through as you're recording. And something that I'm exploring with is actually recording with an amplifier and actually recording with an electric guitar amp. And I've been doing that sometimes where my pickup is going through an electric amp, and I've got a preamp here where I can split the signal. So one signal goes into the audio interface and the other signal goes to an amp, and then I actually mic up the amp as well. So all the kind of the signal from the pickup that goes into the audio interface is like a clean signal, no effects, and then all the effects are kind of going through the amp, and then I have a microphone picking up the amp. And the benefit with this is that I don't have to use headphones, because if I want to hear any kind of effects whilst I'm recording, whilst I'm playing, then I have to use headphones. I don't want to use headphones all the time, you know. Speaking of headphones, I need to adjust my headphones a little bit. So that's what I'm kind of experimenting with at the moment. Let me know any of your experiments or what you're working on at the moment. We'll get to some questions now. Here we go. Hello from Maine. Nice. New subscriber here. Welcome. I have a McIlroy, cousin to the Loudon. Yeah, I know about McIlroys. Nice. Beautiful guitars. And love it. Question. Do you use an octave pedal? Do they tend to work better with a magnetic sound hole pickup? It's funny you say that. I did use a octave pedal when I was using a sound hole pickup. So at the moment, I'm just using a K&K pure mini pickup, which is like 3 contact pickups underneath the bridge here, on the inside of the guitar. I had a few sound hole pickups. I had a Sunrise pickup for ages. And then I had a Fishman rare earth blend system. And at one point I was combining the Fishman rare earth blend system with also having the K&K Trinity no, not K&K Pure Mini, sorry. And that's basically three signals: the sound hole pickup, the internal microphone, and the K&K. And I had different signal chains for each pickup. So each pickup would have its own preamp, and then it would go into its own EQ and da da da. It gets a lot. It got a lot very complicated. I mean, I still have a complicated system, but I think it's still a bit simpler than it was. But yes, I did have an octave pedal. I had the Boss OC. I think it was OC3. I think I had really nice octave pedal because it has a poly setting, which means that whatever you play, it would just take the lowest signal to what you're playing, and then it would drop an octave above that, on top of that, so it's like which is obviously usually everything what the sixth string was doing, so it wouldn't just put an octave over everything, because obviously it would sound horrible. So it's a bit like having, a bass player, your own bass player, sort of playing along with you, with everything that you played. And it was nice to sort of bring that in, especially in live situations. And you really don't need a lot, I mean, it would just bring in a little bit of sort of that low end frequencies that you get with like a bass. And if you don't have a bass, then the octave pedal would kind of fill in a little bit there. So it was nice. I don't know. I used it. I think I did use it with the sound hole pickup. I don't know why I didn't use it with the K&K. I'm not sure why. I don't know if they work better with sound hole pickups or not. I guess they still would work okay. I don't see why they wouldn't work with other pickups. But yeah, what pickups do you use out of interest? Do you have a sound hole pickup or? Jidge says, I used a Dario NS Micro sound hole tuner. All right, sound hole tuner, very discreet and easy to use. I haven't seen that one. I've got to check that one out. So does it go in your sound hole then? I've got to check that out. Any other questions? Hey Jody, how's it going? Jody says, hey Fabian, doing my first solo acoustic gig next weekend. Playing all on my own material. Used to playing in a band, so this is new for me. Any advice performing solo? Yeah, it's very different. I mean, it's funny you say that, because I haven't actually played live myself for a while. Mainly because I've been doing online stuff, and because I've been sort of not able to, or not wanting to go on tour as much because of my family and everything. Or when I do go on tour, I want to bring my family with me. But I still haven't been going out. So I actually went to an open mic last Sunday. For the first time in a long time here in Berlin, and it was really nice. It was really lovely. Yeah, it depends on what you feel you struggle with, because lots of people struggle with different things. But I'd say, just if it's your first time, just try to enjoy it. a lot of people struggle with nerves, and I definitely struggle with nerves, especially if I haven't played in a long time. It's actually something, I think Ben mentioned this in the song club. We have a little song club community. Links in the description down below. Little plug for that. It's completely free. It's a nice little community where we kind of share things together and we grow together. And Ben mentioned this. He's been struggling with performing and with nerves, and he feels like, when he goes on stage, he plays it perfectly at home, but then he struggles to remember anything. And this is quite normal, and it's something that is just, I feel it just comes with doing it lots of times, so I'd say just try to enjoy it as much as you can, and just remember that the audience is, most of the time, is with you. The audience wants you to succeed, so don't ever feel like they're judging you, or try not to get distracted by the audience. This is what I try to remember and try to think about when I'm performing live, and that's why sometimes I actually like to kind of talk a little bit beforehand, not go straight into the song, because just kind of chatting with people in the audience just kind of makes you, introducing yourself, just introduce the song a little bit. Maybe this is a little something you could do, would really kind of help before you start actually playing. And I don't know if you're the sort of person that can talk in front of people. I'm definitely not. I was always the person, I used to play in bands as well. I was always the person that would never speak. I was the guitarist at the back. I'd never talk to the audience, So, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Like, I actually didn't enjoy these live streams to start off with, because I was so nervous doing them, and still am nervous sometimes, but I've just been doing it for so long, almost every weekend, thereabouts. And, it's just, if I keep doing it, then you just get so used to it. I don't know if this helps or answers your question, Jody. But yeah, I'd say, like, if you can kind of introduce the song, introduce yourself, and just remember that the audience is a bit like your friend, but obviously don't ramble too much. I do that a lot when I'm nervous. I just ramble and I talk about nothing, just randomly ramble, like I'm doing now, maybe. Hope that helps, and good luck. That's exciting. That's really, really exciting. I don't know if Apple does this still. We'll try it. If they do like a little, what is it? If they do are they going to do some balloons? There we go. That's for you, Jody. Okay. We'll see what other questions we got. Give Fabian a like. Thanks, appreciate that. No, it's okay. I'm not here for the likes. I'm here for the talks. I'm here for the chats. I'm here for the community. Absolutely. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, that wasn't the cloudburst, actually. Someone mentioned, was it Nick earlier, mentioned about the cloudburst, had a question about the cloudburst, the Strymon cloudburst. If anybody has any experience with the Strymon cloudburst, then Nick is asking about it. If it's worth it, is it any good? I have the Blue Sky, bought it years ago. And actually, I'm using two effects. So I have like the Fishman Acoustiverb. So this is the Fishman Acoustiverb. And that's more of like I'd say a more natural, subtle reverb that I try. And then I have another signal chain going through my volume pedal, and that's kind of like my unnatural signal, where I have all other effects coming through, like the Blue Sky. You know, if I want to kind of bring in these sounds, I can kind of do that spontaneously, you know, when I'm playing. I really like to do that rather than just like stomping on pedals, and I don't have to have my pedal board near me. You know, it's up here away. I just have to have my volume pedal, my lovely Leela mono active volume pedal. Done a video on that. I love these. I love Leela. I love these volume pedals. I just have to have that near me, you know. So whatever, I just kind of press whatever effects that I need for that song. I usually don't change things too much in the middle of the song, and then I just kind of bring them in and out whenever I feel the moment. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I'm gonna do another song, and then I'll answer a few more questions. Make sure if you do have a question that you put a question mark next to it, maybe 2 question marks, so I can see it. So it's so I notice the difference between like just a comment and a question. So I'm watching out for the questions. All right, I'll do another song. Okay. I'll take a sip. This next song is a one I haven't done in a little while, so I'm just going to do it. And it's called Banks of the D. And it's on my first album. And on my first album, I really want to do something very similar to that again. I basically had just a few other... I was playing solo like this, solo acoustic guitar and singing. And then I'd have various, like, just a few instruments joining me on certain songs. So one song I'd have like a double bass player joining me, and on another song I'd have an accordion player joining me, you know, stuff like this, harmonica player. And on this one I had not an accordion, it was a melodeon. Really nice guy called Simon Kerr. Shout out to Simon. Hope he's doing good. So you can check out that recording if you want to. It's all on Spotify and everything. It's called Banks of the D. It's a traditional English folk song, an old mining song. Just going to put a little bit of reverb on this again, so I think it would suit it. Here we go, Banks of the D. Last Saturday night, by the banks of the Dee, I met an old man under stress I could see, and I sat down beside him, and to me he did say, oh, I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey. Oh, I am an old miner, aged 56. If I could get lots what I raffle me picks, I'd raffle them and I'd sell them and I'd hoe them away. But I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey. Last Wednesday night to the reckoning I went, to the culinary office I went straight for her nest, and I got me wage packet and I was walking her way, when they gave us me notice for me hair, it's turned grey. Oh, I am an old miner, aged 56. If I could get lots what I raffle me picks, I'd raffle them and I'd sell them and I'd hoe them away. But I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey. That was Banks of the Dee. So in a lot of my songs I have like these, especially with these like old traditional folk songs, it's very, very simple, just like a verse. There's no chords. It's kind of just like a part one section, which is like the verse, the story, the singing, and then the second section, which is just me basically playing and basically improvising. So all of that, the instrumental bits of those, I was just completely improvising. There was no there was nothing of that it was pre-written. The melody was pre-written, like what I was doing, you know, or whatever it was. can't even remember the bass line I was doing, something like this. Then I just like, you know, just improvise on these sort of these strings, the first, second, third, and fourth string, you know. So in that, because I'm improvising, I do make mistakes, and you might have seen there I did make a few mistakes in there. But you know, I'm getting, the more I play, the more comfortable I am with making mistakes, and the more I'm able to push myself out of my comfort zone to make those mistakes. You know, I think it's important to be okay, to be comfortable making mistakes. You know, everybody, I think a lot of people think that you have to be completely perfect, especially with like a recording. You know, if you're recording, it has to be like pristine, no mistakes at all, and that's just not true. I leave my mistakes in on purpose sometimes, because I feel it's part of the performance, it's part of the song, you know. Like in my last album, there was no edits, not one edit was in that. I left everything in, and I recorded the whole album in one day as well. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like I gave myself any time to prepare much, you know. Just the whole album, one day, recorded, and you know, left all of my mistakes in, which, because I've been playing for so long, I'm able to sort of cover them up, you know. I would say I'm able to hide them a little bit better, but I do make them, you know. So I think it's just important to say that we all make mistakes, you know. Even the most experienced players that look like, they're amazing and they never make any mistakes, they're making mistakes all the time. You just don't notice them, you know. Just thought I'd say that. Okay, so let's go to the questions now. Okay. Yes, the OC3. Oh no, hold on. Before that, watch old 1970s John Martin live videos. Yeah, John Martin did a lot of running into amps. No, absolutely. No, amps, acoustic guitars through amps, electric amps is nothing new for sure. It's just new for me in what I'm experimenting with, you know. But I enjoy experimenting. Yeah, absolutely. I need to catch up on my John Mayer. No, not John Mayer. John Martin. Sorry, John Martin. Yeah, absolutely, fantastic. Yes, loved the OC3, but found it didn't track well with my previous. What is that? Shatton. Okay, it works better with my K&K Trinity. All right, yeah. I can't even remember what I put it through, to be honest. Even better through the Pure Mini only than blended. That's interesting. That is interesting, because I would have thought a sound hole would be sort of clearer, because sound holes pickups tend to be, to my ears, a bit clearer. But I don't know. Maybe it didn't track it so well. That's interesting to know, though, because I was thinking about getting an octave pedal again, experimenting with that. Yeah. Playing live is my job. Easy money. The only thing you can control is your own effort. Just have fun and don't try to figure out what you think people want you to do. Have fun. Yeah. Absolutely. It's all about having fun and not overthinking, you know. Just as a side little side story here, so I won't ramble on too much. I'm completely obsessed with my tone, or I used to be a lot more, especially when I had lots of pickups. I had 3 different pickups I was blending, and I would EQ them, and I would be really, really specific about my tone and how I wanted my sound to be on stage. I'm talking about on stage, right? So I had all this sort of stuff I was bringing on stage, and it was all really complicated. Um, and I would stress out in the sound check if the sound check didn't go the way I wanted it to go, in terms of if it didn't sound the way I wanted it to sound, for whatever reason. And venues sound completely different because it's a completely different room, completely different sound system. Sometimes it sounds great, sometimes it just doesn't, and that really frustrated me. So sometimes you've got to let go. And this was a time when I was actually living on a boat in London. I lived on a canal boat, and so I didn't want all of my stuff, because in London a lot of canal boats get broken into. So I didn't have all of my gear and everything on the boat. I had it in a storage space, right? One of these like storage spaces you can rent out, and I rented out this storage space, which was basically like a closet. It was tiny, but it was cheap, and that's why I got it. And I managed to fit all my stuff in there. And I forgot that this storage space closed on Sundays. It wasn't open. And I forgot this. And I had a gig on a Sunday. So I wasn't able to get access to any of my gear, right? And to like your average person who doesn't care about what pickups they're using or whatever, it maybe doesn't matter, But to me, it was devastating. It was like the worst thing that could happen if I can't use my guitar, if I can't use my own gear, then the gig is gonna be rubbish. It's just gonna suck, So I had this attitude, and then I managed to borrow a friend's guitar, which was just like a basic like Martin. It was nice, but it wasn't like the high-end Martin. It was more on the low-end Martin with a very simple pickup, kind of thing. And I remember just before I went on stage, I decided there and then that I was just not gonna care anymore. I just decided from one minute to the next, it doesn't matter, and I kind of realized that the audience doesn't care. They really don't care about your sound, They care if you maybe mess up, as long as you're playing the right notes and singing the right song, that's what they care about. Then no one in the audience is going to say, yeah, it was great, but, the acoustic guitar just didn't quite sound like an acoustic guitar. The tone was just a bit off. Most of the time, you're not going to get someone in the audience saying that, So anyway, I just decided that I wasn't going to care anymore. And, whatever sound would come out of the guitar would be perfect, would be great. It doesn't matter. And I focused on the performance. And you know what? That was one of my best gigs that I've ever done, because I just let go, So this is me rambling now, but this is just a story to say, if you're worried about the way your guitar sounds or what gear you use on stage, don't get me wrong. I love gear. I love using my gear on stage. I love the way my guitar sounds and everything like that. But it's just worth remembering that, most people in the audience, they don't really care. I just put that out there. Yes. Nick says, I find combining busking with gigs helps the confidence. Busking in Galway is great for getting bookings. Yeah, absolutely. I busked back in the day in Bristol in the UK. Bristol is a lovely city in the southwest of the UK, of England. If you haven't been there and you go to the UK, if you go to England, you need to check out Bristol, or at least the southwest. It's lovely. And I was busking every day for a year and just living on like friends' floors and sofas and stuff. This was like, I was in my 20s. Back when I could do that sort of thing. And I was doing open mics almost every night of the week. This helped me so much. So yeah, absolutely. Busking is great. Nice. Yeah. Big Sky with volume pedal. Love the workaround. Really sold me on that AFX, the AFX Acoustic-Verb. Yeah. It's a great pedal. I love it. What what you play after the mistake determines if it's a mistake. Yeah, absolutely. Where I heard someone said, if you play a wrong bum note, you just play it again, you know? Then people think that you meant to play it. That's an interesting way of resolving it. But yeah, absolutely. It depends on what you do after, you know? As someone who struggles with OCPD, I love your perspective on the more I play, the more comfortable I am about making mistakes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. It really is, you know, I really do believe this. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and the more you feel comfortable about uncomfortable situations, you know. It's and at the end of the day, you know, it really what we worry about in our heads, that we think that people are judging us and thinking about us, you know, most of the time people don't care. Most people are thinking about themselves, not about you, you know. So don't let that hold you back from doing what you want to do. Try a smaller watt, bright voiced tube amp for plugging in your acoustic into. You can always roll off the highs, but it's nice to have them available, like your Outlook. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what? I have like a a cheap Fender Frontman 100-watt amp, which is the worst. It's not the worst amp. It's okay, but I don't need a 100-watt amp. You know, it's really ridiculous for what my needs are. I don't know why I got it. And that's the only amp I have, because I don't really use electric. I have like a lap steel. That's pretty much it. I'd love to get one of these small watt tube amps. I'd love to get something like that. If you have any recommendations on something like that, then I'm all ears, because I think I've just played. I used to be an electric player, and I used to have electric guitars, and I used to have tube amps, but it was so long ago, and I've played acoustics for so long that I've just kind of lost touch of what is out there. And I just need something small wattage, nice tube sound, this sort of thing. Those Fender Tweed amps look nice. Anybody have a Fender Tweed amp? Just out of interest. Okay, on pickups, I just installed one of the Journey Tech Underbridge on my 1973 Suzuki. Interesting, nice. Many people saying it's better even than the Pure Mini. I've never played a Pure Mini. Jody says. Yeah, I haven't tried that. I haven't tried the Journey Tech at all. That 1973 Suzuki sounds interesting though. There's is that Japanese made? Suzuki's Japanese, huh? Suzuki made guitars. That's pretty cool. You know, there's a lot of like these old, if you can find an old Japanese guitar, they're actually really good quality. um, yeah, like some of these old Takamine guitars. Um, they're actually really good. So I'm always on the lookout for them. Yeah, but that's interesting. Journey Tech underbridge saddle. I'm not a huge fan of like the underbridge piezo pickups, just as the way they sound. And the one like the Pure Mini is kind of piezo technology, I think. But I don't know. It doesn't have as much sort of quackiness, I find. But I haven't tried the Journey Tech, so it could be really nice, Jody also says, but this is without a doubt the most acoustic sounding pickup I've ever played. Interesting. And it's €40 on Toman. Crazy. That is interesting. I got to check that out. Journey Tech. Anybody else have experience with that? Journey Techs are great. Jidge says Journey Techs are great. Okay. Jody says about the Suzuki, yeah, they made guitars for a good few years until they got sued for copying Gibson. Yeah, I heard that a lot of Japanese guitar companies were copying a lot of American stuff, and they got sued, so they had to stop. What tone are you seeking? Also, by using electric amp, slight distortion or saturation tone. I might try that on my Helix, running a separate path and output. Yeah, try it. That's a good question. I don't even think I know what I'm seeking. I think I'm seeking just a little bit of saturation, a little bit of sort of crunch, not necessarily distortion, I would say, but just this sort of a little bit of grit, I would say, just a slight sort of thing. I don't want something that is clean and pure, like an acoustic amp would provide. So that's why I was thinking electric amp. And I just like the idea of an amp and then picking up the sound from a speaker. So it's like, rather than going straight in directly through cables into the audio interface, using amplifiers and then using microphones to pick up that sound, and just kind of capturing a little bit of grit, and capturing, the air, because the mics capture the air a little bit more, and I think that somehow could be interesting, could be different, and I would still have my pickup going directly into the interface, so it would be a separate thing that I could, and then I would also record onto a separate track, so I could then, control after as well. I actually did a video doing this quite recently. What song was it? It was an original song. You can look on like a couple of videos ago. I did a song. It was just literally just one of my songs called Cold Tea. I don't know if I called it that. I think it was that one. No, it wasn't. Sorry. It was the cover I did of... it was the cover... Hold on, let me just find it, because it might be interesting for you to check it out. And I did this, and it to me, it sounded pretty good. House of the Rising Sun. So this was a few videos ago. I did a cover of House of the Rising Sun, and I literally just used a ribbon microphone to capture my vocals, one ribbon mic capturing my vocals and guitar, and then I had this sort of set up that I had my pickup going into the interface, and then a split signal of the pickup going into my amp, and then another ribbon microphone capturing the amp sound, which was all my kind of effects. And I was kind of blending that in live with my volume pedal, if that makes sense. So that was something that I thought was interesting, and I experimented with that, and I'm going to be further experimenting with that. But definitely using the volume pedal to kind of control things is something I really enjoy, you know, and definitely worth experimenting with as a separate signal. You got to be honest. You got to, you know, I'm as honest as they get in the live streams. You know, I can't hide it. You know, I can't fake it. If I don't know something, I will tell you. Fender made a tweed champ around $800 that might blend with an acoustic amp. Yeah, those Fender tweed champs, they're nice, aren't they? They look really nice anyway. All right. I'm gonna... Hey, Paul. How's it going? You're just in time to capture one more song before I go. So if anybody has any last questions or anything they want to say or mention or anything like that, then now's the time, because I'm going to do one more song and then I got to go to bed because it's getting late here in Berlin. It's 36 minutes past 10. But, you know, can stay up a little bit later because it is a Saturday. But unfortunately, my son wakes me up at like 6 a.m. these days. Especially at a weekend because he wants to play, which is great, which is lovely. But, you know, I'd like to lie in sometimes, but... So I gotta catch the early nights as much as I can. All right, I'm gonna do one more song. I'm gonna do... I'm gonna do Nobody's Fault But Mine. Why not? That's a song I like to do a lot for the regulars that know me. It's a song by Blind Willie Johnson. He's one of my favorite blues musicians, and he did a lot of like gospel blues. He was super religious. He had a really, really tough life. He got blinded by his stepmom when he was 7. She poured acid in his face because she was jealous of his dad. Because I think his dad cheated on her or something. Anyway, she did that to get back at his dad. Pouring acid in your stepkid's face. It's so, you know, from the get-go he had a tough life, and then you know, it didn't get much better for him, unfortunately, but he recorded these amazing songs, and if you haven't heard them, really check them out, because it's you know, these songs are approaching 100 years old now, you know. And the fact we have these recordings is really amazing. And a lot of these musicians I'm just fascinated by, because a lot of them, they had to just go into the studio and just knock out take after take, song after song. And a lot of them got paid per song. So the more songs that they recorded, the more they would get paid, So that's why you see a lot of blues musicians, they have a lot of sort of songs that sound very similar. And a lot of them have like a lot of songs, because the more songs they did, then the more money they got, So not that they got paid very much, but it fascinates me, listening to some of these old recordings and listening to the quality of the musicianship. They didn't have the ability that we have now to record separate tracks, to take your time with it. It had to be just, okay, we have like a few hours or whatever, let's, you need to get this taken, and they were able to do that. They were just able to perform these songs flawlessly, so it's very impressive. So anyway, this is a song by Blind Willie Johnson called "Nobody's Fault But Mine." It's almost one of his most famous recordings. Been covered by loads of other musicians, Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton. And now here's my version. All right, here we go. Nobody's Fault But Mine. Nobody's fault but mine. Nobody's fault but mine. If I don't read, my soul be lost. And I have a Bible of my own. And I have a Bible of my own. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Mother, she taught me how to read. Mother, she taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Nobody's fault but mine. Mother, she taught me how to read. Mother, she taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Sister, she taught me how to read. Sister, she taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Nobody's fault but mine. if I don't read, my soul belongs. Father, he taught me how to read. Father, he taught me how to read. If I don't read, my soul be lost. Nobody's fault but mine. That was nobody's fault but mine. Okay. So, if there's any last questions, anything like that, then please let me know before we end it. Welcome anyone that's just joined. We're just ending, but you can always watch the replay of these. Yeah, I knew you were hoping I would play that, Jidge. Nice one. What type of amp do I use? I use the electric. The only amp I have is an electric amp, which is a Fender Frontman. But we were talking about amps earlier, of like looking at amps with acoustic guitars. But I don't have an acoustic amp at the moment. Just electric. Would you consider doing a lesson or course or dadgad on dadgad and your playing style? I would definitely pay a few quid for a look inside that noggin of yours. I appreciate that. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm doing coaching at the moment. That is not available to the outside public. It's just available to my subscribers, to my like email subscribers, and I've got this song club. But I will make it available soon. And the kind of the coaching and mentoring is more, it's guitar techniques, but it's also it's helping people with songwriting and recording and stuff like this. But the best way is just to join the Song Club. If you haven't joined that, link is in the description down below. It's free. You just need your email. I promise I won't use your data for anything dodgy. And then I can, you can see any offers that I do there. But I'm doing in small amounts, sort of coaching and lessons, on Zoom. Absolutely. So you can just join, and then I will be talking about that in the future. When you finish your chorus, can you transition into the walk down from Kashmir? Have to do that next time. Absolutely. I know, Fabian. Tell the artist he is playing, but I forget what the name of him. Was that just the song that I just did? Is Blind Willie Johnson. Blind Willie Johnson. Check him out if you haven't heard any Blind Willie Johnson stuff. Considered one of the best slide players of all time. Any slide player will 100% be a fan of Blind Willie Johnson. All right, that's all the questions. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you all. And if you haven't, make sure you join the Song Club, because a lot of people here are already on. And, we continue these conversations within the Song Club. And it's just a little community on my website. It's just almost like a little forum thing. And I'm building it up slowly, but it's a nice little community, but we need more sort of people posting and contributors. So please join, and we can continue the conversation. But I do these every Saturday, so thereabouts. And so I hope to see you all in the next live stream. Appreciate you all so much. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.